Hello everyone. So we are discussing chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. And last time we were discussing about important reduction reactions of aldehydes and ketones. And now we are left with only few properties. And today we will discuss all those remaining chemical properties. And with that the chapter will comes to an end. Now let us discuss another chemical property, that is oxidation. What about oxidation of aldehydes and ketones? How do they undergo oxidation reaction? So both aldehydes and ketones undergo oxidation. Aldehydes are readily oxidized while ketones are not readily oxidized. This we have already done that why aldehydes are more reactive than ketones. So on account of that reactivity, aldehydes are readily oxidized, whereas ketones are not readily oxidized. So oxidation happens in presence of this acidified K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate. Acidified potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate, remember, potassium dichromate and potassium permanganate, both these two reagents are well known oxidizing agents. So here we are using this K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, and that to its acidified solution, that is its solution in acidic medium. Acid here taken is sulfuric acid. So this mixture provides this oxygen to the molecule of aldehyde and oxidizing this aldehyde molecule to carboxylic acid. Okay. So whenever the oxidation of ketones happen, that happen only under certain special conditions or vigorous conditions. What are those vigorous conditions? That is, first of all, again in presence of acidified K2Cr2O7, but at high temperatures. At high temperatures, ketones are also oxidized in presence of acidified potassium dichromate solution. Remember, at high temperatures. Okay. Now have a look at this. Have a look at this example where you are seeing that this ketone is undergoing oxidation in presence of acidified potassium dichromate to carboxylic acid. This is the example where we have taken the case of CH3C CH3 double bond O, that is acetone. So this is acetone. So it is undergoing oxidation and it is forming acetic acid in the product. So CH3COH, you all might be knowing that this is acetic acid. Now remember, aldehydes also undergo oxidation in presence of mild oxidizing agents. What are those mild oxidizing agents? Mild oxidizing agents like bromine water, silver salt, copper 2 positive salt, silver 1 positive salt, copper 2 positive salt means are ions that are there in the available in the solution. So we have also two well known mild oxidizing agents, and those are Tollens reagent and Fehling's solution or Fehling's reagent or Benedict's solution. These three reagents, these are mild oxidizing agents. These have tendency to oxidize aldehydes. But not ketones. Okay. Why so? Because we have already discussed that aldehydes are more reactive than ketones. So Tollens reagent and failing reagent or failing solution. These are mild oxidizing agents and these oxidize aldehydes. Okay, now first of all let us discuss about this Tollens reagent. What is this Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent is simply ammonical solution of silver nitrate. Ammonical solution of silver nitrate. Remember, I am repeating, the Tollens reagent is ammonical solution of silver nitrate. And how is it obtained? This is simply obtained by adding ammonium hydroxide solution to silver nitrate solution till the precipitate of silver oxide first formed just redissolves. This is the preparatory route of Tollens reagent. This is silver nitrate. This upon reacting with this ammonium hydroxide forms gray precipitate of silver oxide with the formation of ammonium nitrate and the release of water molecule. Then in the next step what happens? This is the redissolution of this gray precipitate of silver oxide upon further addition of excess of ammonium hydroxide, and ultimately what is formed or obtained there? This Tollens reagent. This is the formula of Tollens reagent. That is, this is ammonical solution of silver nitrate. Okay, have a look at this. This is the chemical formula of Tollens reagent. Now this reagent that we are going to use to oxidize aldehyde. Okay, so and now when an aldehyde is heated with Tollens reagent, what will happen? Tollens reagent gets reduced to metallic silver. Metallic silver. Last in your previous class, you have done that oxidation reduction reactions, and you know that whenever a species oxidizes another one, and that species itself gets reduced. Okay, so if Tollens reagent is oxidizing aldehyde, then it is itself getting reduced to metallic silver. So if test is being carried out in a test tube, then there will be the deposition of metallic silver. While performing this test, there will be the deposition of metallic silver on the inner wall of the test tube, glass test tube. Okay, hope you have understood. So now have a look at this reaction, this oxidation reaction. This is an aldehyde, general formula of aldehyde. This is that Tollens reagent. Okay, and what is forming there as products? The carboxylate ion, deposition of silver, that is this Ag, this downward arrow, this it means that it is being precipitated there, or forming crystals of it, formation of the crystals of this metal on the inner walls of this test tube with the release of another this molecule of ammonia and water. Remember, both aliphatic as well as aromatic aldehyde show this silver mirror test. This is simply called as silver mirror test. Now Tollens test may be silver mirror, or that may be simple Tollens test as well. When silver mirror is also formed there, then the test will also be called as silver. When the deposition of silver is also there, then the test will be also called as silver mirror test. Okay, now silver mirror means, since it is a shining metal, silver means chandi, so it shines like that of mirror, so this is also called as silver mirror test. Now another mild oxidizing agent that has capacity or tendency to oxidize aldehydes. This is failing solution. failing solution. And what is failing solution? Failing solution is an alkaline solution of copper sulfate containing some Rochelle salt. That is, what is that salt? Sodium potassium tartarate, and is prepared by adding alkaline solution of Rochelle salt called as failing solution B to copper sulfate solution called as failing solution A. So we have two types of failing solution: failing B, failing solution A. Okay. Until precipitates of copper hydroxide are formed, which redissolves to form a deep blue solution. So failing solutions are deep blue. Failing solution is deep blue in color. Okay. Now, when an aliphatic aldehyde is heated with failing solution, the latter is reduced to give a red precipitate. Again, here the mild oxidizing agent that we are using, this is failing solution. If failing solution, this is the formula of failing reagent. If failing solution is oxidizing aldehyde, then failing solution, this it itself getting reduced, and it is being reduced to cuprous oxide. And cuprous oxide, you are seeing here downward arrow, means there is happening this precipitation of this cuprous oxide. And what is the color of those precipitates? Red color. So red precipitate of cuprous oxide is formed there while performing this test. Okay. Now remember this important point, that both aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes reduce Tollens reagent. However, reduction of failing solution is carried only by aliphatic aldehydes. Okay. In oxidation, we discussed first of all about simple oxidation method, that is the use of acidified potassium dichromate, and that acidified potassium dichromate is a strong oxidizing agent. Then we took into consideration the use of mild oxidizing agents as well, where we discussed about Tollens reagent test, Tollens test, and Failing's test. Okay. Tollens test is given by aldehydes only. Failing's test is also given by aldehydes only. But Tollens test is given by both aliphatic as well as aromatic aldehydes, whereas Failing's test is shown by only aliphatic aldehydes. Remember this thing. Aromatic aldehyde, for example, if we take the case of benzaldehyde, C6H5CHO, then this gives a positive Tollens test. But benzaldehyde is not capable of giving positive Failing's test. Hope you have understood. Have a look at another chemical property of aldehydes and ketones, and this is this halogenation. Aldehydes and ketones containing alpha hydrogen. What is the condition? That in order to show this property of halogenation, those must be having alpha hydrogen. You people know that whenever there is a functional group, the very first carbon atom attached to functional group is called alpha carbon, and the hydrogens attached to that carbon are called as alpha hydrogens. So in this molecule of, this is CH3CHO acetaldehyde, you are seeing how many alpha hydrogens are here? 3. Okay. And here what is the functional group? This is C double bond O, that is keto group. This is aldehydic functional group. Here it is keto group. So here we are having from either side, that is from this side alpha hydrogen as well as from this side. So both sides can be utilized. Have a look at this. In presence of acids, monohalogenation. So this halogenation happens in presence of an acid as well as in presence of base. Okay. And in presence of acids, monohalogenation occurs. However, in presence of base, polyhalogenation occurs. In presence of acid, इट मीन्स कहने का मतलब यह है कि सिर्फ एक जो है हेलोजन एटम यहाँ पर ऐड हो सकता है अल्फा कार्बन पर, लेकिन इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ बेस जो है एक से ज़्यादा हेलोजन एटम्स भी ऐड हो सकते हैं. सो इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ बेस पॉलीहेलोजिनेशन अकर्स. नाउ फाइनली we are going to have look we are going to discuss we are going to have look at these miscellaneous reactions, some important reactions, and out of these miscellaneous reactions we have already done two types of reactions, two very important, and hope कि बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन में वो इस बार भी आ जाएं. वो those are asked frequently in board examination, and MCQs are also asked in competitive examination on the basis of those two well-known miscellaneous reactions that we have already done, and those two are aldol condensation and Cannizzaro reaction. Now this time around let us have a final look at these important miscellaneous reactions, and with that the chapter will come to an end. So reaction with ammonia, have a look directly at this reaction. So this is an acetaldehyde. What happens with the ammonia? This is NH3, one hydrogen has been here exposed in order to show the reaction, and the attack of this nucleophilic part, that is NH2. So this attacks over here on this carbon, and this oxygen will take up this hydrogen and thereby forming this acetaldehyde ammonia adduct. Adduct means addition product. So simply this species is being going to added to this aldehyde molecule, that is to this acetaldehyde. So forming addition product are simply called as adduct, which upon heating, this triangle you know that this means heating, and this undergoes the loss of a molecule of water upon heating and forming this acetaldimine. Okay, so formaldehyde reacts with ammonia to form hexamethylene tetraamine, which is used as urinary antiseptic. Remember, the reaction of formaldehyde, that is HCHO, this is formaldehyde, with ammonia happens in this way, that it forms urotropine, a drug which is used to treat urinary and infections. Okay, urinary infections. So have a look at this reaction of formaldehyde with ammonia happens in such a way where we are getting a drug called as urotropine, whose chemical formula is CH2 6N4 with the release of water molecule. And this urotropine, this is a well-known urinary antiseptic. This is used to treat urinary tract infection. Unlike aliphatic aldehydes, benzaldehyde react with ammonia to form complex product called hydrobenzamide. Okay, so benzaldehyde, that means aromatic aldehyde, also reacts with ammonia, but in a different way. Okay, in a different way than those of aliphatic aldehyde. Okay, so what is that way? This is shown here. In this way, so this is a sort of condensation reaction where you are seeing that the molecules of water are being lost here and giving this product hydrobenzamide. Okay, so with the loss of 3 molecules of water. Now aliphatic ketones, what about ketones? Aliphatic ketones, however, give complex condensation. I have already told you, condensation. These show condensation upon reacting with ammonia. Condensation with ammonia. For example, acetone reacts with ammonia to give acetone ammonia, which condenses with another molecule of acetone with the elimination of a water molecule to finally give diacetonamine. Diacetonamine. And the reaction is shown here. What happens in the first step? That a molecule of acetone undergoes condensation with ammonia and giving this acetone ammonia, which upon further condensation with another molecule of acetone, giving final product as diacetonamine, whose IUPAC name is 4-amino-4-methyl pentane 2-on. This is the product. Now another reaction is reaction with alcoholic potassium cyanide. So on heating with an ethanolic solution of KCN, two molecules of an aromatic aldehyde undergo condensation to form benzoines. Okay, this reaction is called benzoin condensation. So again, this is the condensation reaction that is shown by aromatic aldehyde. Aromatic aldehyde, well known, that is benzaldehyde. This is the benzaldehyde. This is another molecule of benzaldehyde undergoing condensation in presence of alcoholic potassium cyanide, and the reaction is called benzoin condensation. Very important named reaction. Very important reaction from examination point of view. This is the chemical formula of benzoin. Now have a look at another type of reaction. The reaction with chloroform. You all know that the chemical formula of chloroform is CHCl3, and this is shown here. So ketones condense with chloroform in presence of alkali. Alkali means hydroxide of a metal, electropositive metal, that is hydroxide of alkali metal. NaOH, KOH are called as alkaline, to form addition product or adduct. For example, acetone gives chloritone. So this is the molecule of acetone. This is undergoing condensation with chloroform in presence of alkali, giving chloritone. Then another type of reaction is action of phosphorus. Another miscellaneous reaction is now this action of phosphorus pentachloride. What will happen? When aldehydes or ketones are treated with phosphorus pentachloride, oxygen atom of the carbonyl group is replaced by 2 chlorine atoms to form. So this is the reaction of aldehyde or a ketone with PCl5 phosphorus pentachloride. We are getting gem dihalide, mean 2 halogen atoms are connected with the same carbon atom. Okay, this is called as gem type compound. Whenever two similar groups are attached to same atom, that type of compound is called gem compound. So here 2 chlorine atoms are attached with the same carbon atom, and here what we are getting from this reaction is ethylidene dichloride with the release of phosphorus oxychloride. Okay, so likewise this is the condensation, this is the reaction between acetone and phosphorus pentachloride, and here we are getting 2,2-dichloropropane. Again, this is also a gem type compound because 2 chlorine atoms are attached to the same carbon atom. Action of Schiff's reagent. When to Schiff's reagent, what is that? Magenta or rosanilene hydrochloride dissolved in water. This is Schiff's reagent. Decolorized by passing, that reagent gets decolorized by passing sulfur dioxide. A dilute solution of an aldehyde is added. If to that solution, dilute solution of aldehyde is added, the original red or pink color is restored. So original color of that Schiff's reagent is pink. So if sulfur dioxide is passed to that pink colored solution of Schiff's reagent, that becomes colorless, And again, when an aldehyde solution is added to that colorless Schiff's reagent, the pink color of that Schiff's reagent is restored. Now finally, ring substitution reactions. So rings, whenever we talk about ring substitution reactions in aldehydes and ketones, we are thinking, or we are pointing towards that aromatic aldehyde or ketone, because ring part is present only in case of those compounds. Those compounds which will be aromatic in nature, and obviously the basic one is that of the case of benzaldehyde. Okay, so have a look directly at important ring substitution reaction. So first of all, this halogenation. So nuclear halogenation is difficult to carry out both in aromatic aldehydes and ketone. Nuclear halogenation means halogenation at nuclear part. This is aromatic compound C6H5CHO, benzaldehyde. Its nuclear part is that ring part, C6H5 part, this part. This is called as nuclear part. So what we are saying here is that the halogenation is difficult to carry out at that part, that is on this ring. It is difficult to introduce Cl atom on the ring of on this part of the benzaldehyde molecule. Okay, since side chain halogenation occurs faster. Why is it so? Because side chain halogenation occurs fast. And what is side chain of this benzaldehyde molecule? This is the side chain, CHO part. Okay, so now you are seeing here that side chain halogenation has been taken place, not at this nuclear part but at the side chain, that is at this part. So replacing this hydrogen, chlorine atom from chlorine molecule is replacing this hydrogen atom of this benzaldehyde, and thereby releasing a molecule of hydrogen chloride as well. And we are getting here benzoyl chloride. Similarly, when acetophenone is treated with bromine water in ether at 273 Kelvin in presence of catalytic amount of aluminum chloride, phenacyl bromide is formed. Okay, so this is another halogenation reaction where halogen that is being utilized here is bromine. Okay, so this is giving phenacyl bromide with the release of hydrogen bromide. However, when acetophenone is treated with bromine in presence of excess of an anhydrous AlCl3, metabromoacetophenone is formed. So in excess of this anhydrous AlCl3, nuclear halogenation is happening here. Okay, I am repeating this. In excess of anhydrous aluminum chloride, we are getting metabromoacetophenone. By treating this acetophenone with bromine, it means in excess of anhydrous aluminum chloride, ring substitution happens. Okay, as you are seeing here. And another one is nitration. So nitration, what is done there in nitration? How do we carry out nitration? By using nitrating mixture. And what is that nitrating mixture? Remember, that is mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. Remember, this is the nitrating reagent. What is nitrating reagent? Mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. What do we get? What sort of species, attacking species we get from this nitrating mixture? NO2 positive ion, nitronium ion. Okay, so this is the attacking reagent that will get attached. You are seeing here that nitronium ion, NO2 positive ion, which is generated from that mixture, nitrating mixture, that is getting attached with the nuclear part of this aromatic aldehyde. Okay, and hence if that aldehyde that is being taken up here is benzaldehyde, and we are getting meta nitrobenzaldehyde in the as the product. Likewise, here you are seeing the example of acetophenone. This is getting converted to meta nitroacetophenone upon reacting with this nitrating mixture. Okay, and finally sulfonation. So remember, both aldehydes and ketones undergo sulfonation, giving meta derivatives again. And why not at this attacking species going at ortho or para? That depends upon the directive influence that we have already discussed in class 11th. Hope you have understood today's lecture, and with this this aldehydes and ketones, this chapter comes to an end. Next time we will take up carboxylic acids. Till then, take good care of yourself. Goodbye.